But one wonders sometimes that governance in this country, when people put themselves up for elected positions, the impression that people have out there is they're going there for their selfish interest. For instance, now, the governor's forum, this retreat, you expect everyone, including those who disagree, to attend, but they can't because of what happened at that last meeting. And at that time, there were questions also that if it was going to be so much controversial about your leadership, couldn't you have just said, in the interest of peace, since we're here to compare notes and see how we could develop our states, no big deal. I'll step down. Let developments go on. Was it out of place for those who suggested that at the time?
Do you know what democracy is? That you have a right to aspire to the presidency of Nigeria. So if you aspire, those who don't like you just have a right to vote you out.
But not to the detriment of
please,
certain things.
Please. You just have a right to put yourself forward. No one human being in Nigeria has a right to say you must stop. The reason for which I stood my ground is that our leader, without even telling me, was contacting others to say he can't run, don't let him run. And I needed to say, no, this is my democratic right, and I need to protect that right. And I put myself forward. The fact that I was chosen would have shown you how popular at that point in time when all the institutions of government was against me. Not just the person, not just one person. Everybody, party, every institution of government, every institution. And I put myself forward and I scored 19 votes. I thought you should say that this is what is called democracy and that we should live up to that.
Well, a lot of people have indeed said this is what's called democracy, as you said. But then the question he asked was, for the sake of peace, because one would think that...
Your
Excellency, let me make my point. One would think that if you have a broom bunched together, it has more strength than if the broom is divided into two. So a body that's a pressure group that was helping to, let's develop the state, divided, makes it more difficult.
Did you know why? Did you ask why there was resistance from that institution of states? Did you ask? Not the governors, because the first election we were to hold, 33 governors were at the meeting. Only one said, "Oh, the process was not followed. Governor Amaechi will support you at the next election, but follow the process." We followed the process. They saw again that about 30 governors were behind me. They had to bring in the power of incumbency at the national level to now properly divide, and they thought they would win. Despite all they did, personally campaigning and speaking to governors and inviting them over. You should praise the governors for standing their ground.
With all of those politicking from that particular election, and
you know, as governor of a state, you call the principal of a school and say, "Don't vote for this man." And there were 36 of the principals, and you were shocked that 19 went. You should praise the governors for standing their ground.
Well, in moving forward from there, after that particular election, some will say that politicking from both sides and what has been happening in your state has actually placed a pause or a stop to development in the River State. Sometimes the PDP in your state, almost on a weekly basis, if not daily, reel out so many kinds of letters against your government, how they have come to realize that developments have stopped and you have squandered the resources. I'm sure you have seen some spent, well, by the PDP, the resources of River State. So we haven't had cause to have you since then to react to some of those allegations from the PDP in River State.
Do you honestly believe that? The person writing that did not go to school, so he needs to come to go to school in River State. He did not. I'm not joking. He did not. But let's take the issues one after the other. I don't commission projects. I don't like it. Why don't I like it? Just like if you have your managing director, he is paid to do his job. He doesn't call Nigerians to come and say, "I'm doing my job very well, so dance for me." So as a principal, I don't. It's only when they write this kind of things that they write that I want to show to the country that we're on course. And that we apply our resources to development. That's why I invited Obasanjo to come and see. Obasanjo said more things, General Obasanjo, as the former president, said more things to me than he said to the public. You know what he said to the public? He said, I marked, which means I have seen, what I used to earmark, what I used to hear, and I declare. I now say that is true. We took him to a fish project, a fishing project, a fish farm project. That fish farm project is 1,000 tons of fish per year. right? And don't forget that we import well over 1.4 million tons of fish in a year. And we just showed him one. We have 4 of those fish projects, 4, to create employment. Then when he asked me, what informed your decision? I said, employment, sir. I don't want to be a fisherman, rather. Not to be a fisherman. But I had to do this to create employment, to stop insecurity, to stop kidnapping, to stop armed robberies. I want to create an alternative economy to the oil. I took him to the banana farm. You saw him cutting the reason. 2,000 hectares, 4,000 employment opportunities. And the people who are writing that didn't see that. Even I heard there was an interview in which one of my former chief of staff was saying there was no monorail. And one of your, I was there, I saw actions going on. I took the former president, Chief Obasanjo, to the site of the monorail, one of the stations. Don't forget, no loan, funded by the Rivers State government. No loan. And we've spent close to, I don't know, it must be between close to between 40 and 50 billion. I won't have that figure now. I will have to find out. Now, I took him there to see. They've forgotten that our wage bill is 8.9 billion now. If you take an average of 6 billion, you know, because they used to accuse us before that we've gotten 3 billion until the federal government published that we've gotten about 2 billion, including our IGR. Okay, so as if you take 6 billion per month, multiply it by 12, and then go further to multiply by 7 years. They're not considering all that.
Okay. I was going to talk about the peer review in Governor's Forum, but let me go to Onogo Mohammed's question. He says, what is the impact of Governor's Forum on the lives of the people and the overall governance of the nation?
I thought you heard me say that there was a suggestion at the Economic Council in which we said take our 1% of our revenue to fund education and agriculture in the north.
Has that happened?
Well, it's up to the federal government. Nothing has happened.
Yeah,
but if that had happened, hold on. If that had happened, then you would have been able to reduce the army of recruits for Boko Haram. If that had happened.
That's hypothetical. We're not sure if that's
just hold on. And I think that what the peer review does for you is the fact that you're able to engage the other states to know where they have succeeded and where they have failed. If you look at our report in Anambra and Ekiti, we praise them for their development and criticize them for their inability to organize a local government election. How many groups can do that? By now we'll have fought ourselves. We didn't fight ourselves for such criticism. It was just an interference from somebody from outside.
But since Anambra and Ekiti, have you had any other published reports?
No. That's because they were to do about 3 states, and then this crisis of election came in.
But that crisis is behind us now, and no other reports.
Well, no. The people going need to come. We are making devices available for them to visit before they do their final report. And it takes months. It takes months. The state must be prepared. The state will do their own review, forward to them. They will look at the review, study it, give it to experts to analyze, then come to the state. It's not a 1 month thing. It takes 3, 4, 6, 7 months.
Yeah, but Your Excellency, that suggestion that you gave, which has not been heeded, that's just one. And Governor Sorum had been there for
what about the fact that we're trying hard now to save this country from the current level of corruption? You've forgotten that it was Governor's Forum. People, Nigerians need to remember that these are actions from the Governor's Forum. You've forgotten that we went to court. I also heard that we went to court against the federal government over the oil subsidy.
Are you getting any resistance in that fight? Because some would say...
That's resistance. That's why they intervened in the election. That's the reason why there's an interference in the election of the chairman of the Governor's Forum. It happened in my regime. It's never happened.
Has there been any suggestion, maybe you could remind us, about how to solve this security situation, this Boko Haram matter?
We have. What is the situation? We just say that, listen, until you deal with poverty, you can't deal with insecurity. We've said it. Until you deal with inequality, the range of inequality between the rich and the poor in Nigeria, according to World Bank Index, is 48%. That's huge. It's huge. Indonesia is 25. Meanwhile, our economy was bigger than Indonesia in the 60s. You get the point? So if in the report we had that in the 70s, poverty index in Nigeria was 30%, you expect that by now we should have brought it down to 10 or 15%. Instead, they're talking about 60, 60 something percent. So What the Nigerian Governors Forum does is that the Nigerian Governors Forum is a pressure group, and we will be putting the pressure. We expect that Nigerians will join us to put the pressure.
Just before we go, I know we're almost out of time. Who funds the Governors Forum?
We get money from donor agencies. We get as a club, we donate amongst ourselves, and we fund the Nigerian Governors Forum.
All right, Your Excellency, Governor of Rivers State, Governor Rotimi Amaechi, and Chairman of the Governors Forum, thank you for coming on this morning. We'll return after this break. We've got another perspective coming on, so please join us again.